There we are. All right. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Ascension Gateway. We are here. I am your host, Sharon Sananda Kumara, with Diane and Andy, Cosmic Andy.
Yes. It felt right.
No, it's perfect. Perfect. Diane, you got to change your name to something like Galactic Diane or something.
Yeah, but I already have a Sannyas name.
Oh, okay. Well, there you go. So, yeah, we're here to talk about lots of cool happenings, or I don't know, they seem pretty cool to me in the cosmic community. So, thank you everyone for being here. And hey, Christine, good to see you.
Hi, Christine.
This gathering is a
Hello.
perfect finale to the anniversary of my most
Hi,
recent
Emily.
Emily. Hey, Emily. So let's just go around the room and do a quick introduction. I'll start. I am Sharon Sananda Kumara. If you don't know me, I'm based in the Portland, Oregon area. And I do work. We work all over the world, all right? All over the galaxy, actually. So I know, right? Thank you, Internet. And I've been an experiencer since I was a child. And just wrote my book. Oh, yeah. Just wrote my book. Okay. I do have some experiences in here, but I will dedicate a book to my experiences after my second book coming out about out of body experiences. So, anyway, I do have experiences to this date still. And I have one I want to share that has happened since we met last. And so happy to be here. Okay. Let's go around. Diane.
Okay. My name is Diane, and I'm from the Portland, Vancouver area. And I was talking to my husband today, and I said, I have a class tonight. And he goes, "Why do you do that?" And I said, "Oh my God, that's how we met." I said, "That's my whole life. I've been doing this all my whole life." And he just looked at me kind of weirdly. And I thought, wow, where did he go? I'm here. Anyway, so, I mean, he even gave classes. So I don't know. Oh, he did. He used to do some kind of healing thing with oils. It was really interesting. He was really good. I've taken healing classes, but I'm not really a healer. I'm more like I don't know what. I'm a meditator and a student. I will always be a student, and I will always be a meditator.
We're all
Wonderful.
student
Oh, hi,
teachers.
Shelley. You made it. Yay.
Student teachers.
I see her. I see it. Yeah.
Nice.
I think if you're on Earth, you're the student and the teacher.
Yes, totally.
Yeah.
We're
Yeah.
all student
Yeah.
teachers, teacher students, definitely. Thanks,
Yeah.
Diane.
I think my teacher called us runners. It would be a runner. Like if someone was having a problem and somebody said something to them to move them forward, they called that a runner.
Oh, like pay it forward kind of thing.
Yeah, that's kind of what it is. Yeah.
Yeah, that's because, we're holographic. So it has to
Yeah.
go somewhere.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Thanks. Cosmic Andy.
Yeah, I'm Andy. I'm going by Cosmic Andy now on the show. That's a big development. I'm excited.
Right?
So
Next is your book.
Yes. And by the way, your book is marvelous. I read through it, and I read through the ending again, and I got teary-eyed twice at different points with your profound experiences with Jesus and the Christ consciousness and remembering your true self and higher self. It was beautiful. So if you haven't read Sharon's book, go out and get it. It is outstanding.
Oh, thank you. Thank you, Andy.
Yeah. And so I am and and Diane's book.
No, that's hers. That's hers.
Oh, that's her. Oh, okay. I wasn't sure if you were holding up your book.
Oh, yeah. She pays me to do this,
I love it.
No, I'm only kidding.
The check's in the mail.
Yeah. But I'm a lifelong experiencer, multidimensional phenomenon, UFOs, out-of-body experiences, near-death experiences, psychic attacks, archangels, dragons, fairies, all of the above. So I am grateful to be here, and that Sharon takes the time and energy and effort to put this all together and bring all these people together. So it's always the organizers I'm so grateful for, because I'm not that great of an organizer. I'm a good participator, but not an organizer like this. And so thank you for holding space and creating this, Sharon.
Oh, well, thank you for being here. Yeah, it's fun. It's fun for me. Well, I realized years ago, if I want to do something, I got to do it. Just go out and do it and quit waiting for someone else to do it or say, what I want done and expect someone else to do it. So that way it gets done the way I want it to get done. Right?
Exactly.
But yeah, thank you. Thank you, Andy. And thank you, Diane, for being here, and everyone here in the audience. Robin, Nate's mom. Hey, Robin. Charlene is here. Shelly. Hello. Hello. So we're here for Galactic updates, and there's a lot going on. I think I'm going to share a couple of videos. Actually, I have 3 just short videos about the latest. And then I want to share my experience, because my experience is just really cool. And I didn't even realize it had to do with this until after I saw all this. Anyway, so there's been a lot of what the media is calling drones showing up in the sky. And I have a feeling it's not just New Jersey. So if you haven't heard about this is pretty cool, I think. Now I got to figure out how to share.
I think it's happening in a few places, isn't it? Because I know down by Mar-a-Lago where Trump is, it's happening. I know New Jersey or Pennsylvania.
I think it's Michigan.
Or Michigan. Yeah, there's a few places where.
And Pennsylvania, New Jersey, I think.
I haven't seen those. Okay, so I know that that Trump has a golf course in New Jersey.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and there's also some military installations there. So that's New Jersey was, but it's interesting what the people say here. So here's one quick video. Yeah, right here. Can you see it?
Yeah.
The screen? Okay.
Yes.
So I'm going to start it where I queued it up.
FBI is now getting involved in an investigation into these mysterious, apparently small car-sized drones that people are spotting flying over New Jersey in the middle of the night. Look at this. One woman there took the video you're seeing. So that's it. It looks like it's flying pretty low. And from that perspective, it looks very large, right? And all those lights in the sky that you see there, see those lights? Those are apparently drones as well, they say, seeming to fly in a V formation.
You know, there have been a number of reports of these unidentified aerial phenomena, Hallie, across the country and on the West Coast. So, the government is concerned about this.
The FAA has placed a temporary restriction on drone flights over Picatinny Arsenal and over Trump National Golf Course in Bedminster. When these drones were first spotted 2 weeks ago, the Morris County Prosecutor's Office said that they posed no known threat to public safety. But people want to know, what the heck are they and what are they doing? It's normal to see red and green lights in December, unless they're coming from mysterious drones in the night sky.
It's kind of unsettling. They're not up for 15 minutes, they're up for hours.
Morristown police sent an alert to residents Sunday saying they are aware of drone activity and that if a drone crashes or lands, do not approach or handle it. The FBI's Newark field office would only say it is working with other law enforcement agencies to figure out what's going on, but at the moment doesn't have enough information to share. Nancy Reed didn't want to show her face on camera, but says she's seen the drones every night since November 18th.
I can see them right out my bedroom window. I can watch them. Last night was about 5:30, so it was earlier. But it's normally anywhere between like 7:30 and 10:30, they're out here.
One thing she hasn't seen is the normal air traffic she's used to, and she doesn't understand why.
We're in the fly pattern going to Morristown Airport and Newark, and we used to see a lot of planes coming back and forth. You don't see them anymore.
is a video of the Morris County drones with characteristic triangle lights on the back.
Amazing.
Light, and then there's a big bright light.
They're absorbing around it. I know, Aleph.
Where? The one that's...
Bro, I'm telling you, that shit, there was a shit ton of fucking lights right now lit up. It's just fucking hovering there.
The lights ain't on the top? The light
There's
off?
no fucking way, bro.
It sound a little weird, but we keep asking about the MOAs, we keep passing, because we're following these two kind of lights that are up above us that are kind of jogging back and forth left and right for the past like half hour.
Really? Yeah, I don't see anything on radar, and no, River's just not active.
Cool, thanks.
Yeah, Starseed 57, we've been watching them for about an hour or two in the northwest skies. They were really weak as well. Oh, way up high?
Split positions, they actually moved. It's the first time I've seen them change relative positions.
That's weird. Are they way up high? No close. Sorry, Block, you say they're close in to you, or they're up high?
Oh, I'd put them about 100 miles out in space.
Gotcha. Agreed.
So it's just...
Well, he's
let's
cute.
see. Yeah, his channel is inspired. Here's another one. Can you see this new screen?
I don't see anything new yet.
You don't? Okay. Share this.
I only see the guy. Oh, here we
now,
go.
Now we do.
And no one really seems to know exactly what's going on.
So this has caught the attention of many. Fox 5's Richard Jacobs takes a look at the latest sightings in the sky.
These are all drones in the sky.
It may look like videos from the TV series The Unexplained, what appears to be mystery drones flying over some New Jersey communities.
I can see 3 drones.
From down at the shore all the way to the Army facility in Morris County.
They just hover. A little bit over there, a little bit over there, a little bit, but they just hover back and forth.
Wharton, New Jersey resident and Terror Talk podcast host Michael B. has spent the past 2 weeks attempting to see what these peculiar-looking light-up moving dots are in the sky with a drone of his own. But so far, he hasn't had any luck.
The other night, there was, right here over Picatinny, there was a drone just hanging out. I put my drone up in the air and went towards it. I had full battery life. Not 3 minutes into the flight, I lost control of the drone. Warning on my screen, lost control, and my drone started going down, dead battery.
Michael lives less than a quarter mile from the Picatinny Arsenal Army base, and it has been there over the past few weeks where the military says they have spotted at least 11 unauthorized drones. Governor Phil Murphy says he now needs federal help in finding out where these are coming from.
It's really frustrating that we don't have more answers as to where they're coming from and why they're doing what they're doing.
Down near Monmouth County, the Monmouth County Sheriff also urging federal and state officials to take prompt action addressing these sightings. Jeff Frost from Matawan says he finds himself looking out of his window every night with a bit of fear.
It's so weird. It's such an eerie feeling. I can't really describe it. Like as each passing day goes by and there's less, I guess, more conversation about it, but less explicit, like what this is, it becomes a little creepier.
Could be aliens.
Officials aren't going that far, but are asking the public to be aware and keep reporting what they see until someone figures out what's flying in the skies over New Jersey. In Wharton, New Jersey, Richard Giacobas.
Wow. That was great.
Cool.
Yeah.
What is your take on it, Sharon? What do you think?
Where I have to stop this video. Okay. They're all playing at the same time. Okay. Well, let me tell you about my experience.
Oh, yeah, please do.
Okay. It was November 23rd. I was at the beach. I was at Ocean Shores working on my audiobook. And I had a reality shift. You know how that is, right, Andy? Where you're just, there's no, it's not like it's an out of body experience, but there, you don't know that you've lifted out of your body. You don't know, you're just somewhere else. And I'm still
and
aware
the
of
time is the time zone is like crazy too. You don't know what time of day it is or day.
Yeah. Well, I'm just in another reality.
Where am I?
Well, in this, normally in these experiences, I know that I'm Sharon, but I also know that I'm the person that I'm experiencing. It's like I'm that person within another body. Have my awareness as Sharon, so I've time split, right? Reality split, reality shifted, and I'm in a. I thought I was in a ship or something, or a little ship, and I'm or a simulator or something. I'm looking at a screen that has lights. It's nighttime and it has lights, and I'm and I'm following these lights. I'm flying, simulating. I don't know. There's also grid lines, and I'm going where they're going. We're maneuvering and doing different things, and then as I'm doing it, I know what I'm doing, and then I come out of this. It's either a simulator or a I feel or a remote. I'm flying something remotely, because then I come out of the chair, the seat I'm in, and I and get out of it. But it's not like just stepping out of a regular seat. I'm like held in somehow. So I get out of this thing that I'm held in, and it's like a skin on me. And I'm wearing I look down, I'm wearing a dark blue uniform, like a military dark blue uniform, like the Federation Navy. And my superior officer comes in. I recognize him as my superior officer comes in, and he talks to me about what we were just doing. And I don't have all the information on it, but I did go into meditation later. And then I'm projected. I shift again. I'm in like a bar or forward, like on Star Trek, and I'm talking to people, and we're just all, having a good time and everything. And somebody asked me something, and I said, "Well, I'm in the military." That was my response to them. So I don't understand what that was all about. They were asking me something about what was going on. I said, "Well, I'm in the military." It's almost like I felt like, well, this is what we're doing. I'm doing, it's from the military. So I went into meditation. I felt like it, and I didn't know anything about these drones or anything about these lights or anything or what was going on. I come back home, and that shows up on my feed, and I'm like, that's crazy stuff. And then I sit in meditation a little while later, a couple days later, and I'm getting that my experience has something to do with these, what they call drones. They could be flying cars, because they say they're as big as a car, anti-gravity cars, that kind of thing. My take is, I feel that it's the good guys, the Alliance, is putting up these craft, these vehicles, so people can get used to seeing them, type of deal, and to let the world, let the leaders know we're here, kind of thing. You know what I mean? And it's bringing the veil down slowly. That's my feeling of it. And I believe that a lot of us are part of it. Those of us that, Andy, you too, part of the space program, are part of this unveiling in our otherworldly travels, our multidimensional travels. Some people, I believe that there's also an agenda to scare people, and to believe that this is a beginning of a I've talked about this before. We've talked about this. Invasion, alien invasion, negative alien invasion.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I think that we have to have a positive frame of mind about it, because we know benevolent off-world beings are here. So
Yeah.
they're helping us. That's my take. What's your take, both of you?
You know, it's so interesting. I resonate with a lot of what you've said there. And, there's so many things. I feel like on the one hand, obviously, we know on multidimensional, there's the secret space program, there's different frequencies and almost like different channels that you can be on right here on Earth, and things are different, right? And I do think that as we go through these shifts, those different, everything kind of bleeds into each other, and it kind of gets conjumbled. And so I think the energies are high now. I think that there is like the Galactic Federation, the benevolence that are like doing a slow drip disclosure. Like you've heard about aliens, well, you've seen stuff. Now there's stuff in the sky, that kind of stuff. But then I feel like the mainstream media, while it's changing for the positive, I still feel like they, with the China and the Russia and the Iran and all these things, they kind of keep it like, oh, it could be the start of like a World War III or something scary, or who's watching us, or are we not safe? And I feel like there's still a little bit of that battle because there's, it's, I think awakening, all of us have had experiences and are experiencers. I'm just trying to think in my everyday life when I'm, walking around and talking to people who maybe aren't as open to this stuff. It feels like people are waking up really quickly, and terms and ideas and like, it's hard not to be with all these energies coming in, awakening. And I think maybe, hopefully, this is that benevolent, them flying around in the skies, letting themselves be seen. Hey, we're here, we've been here, kind of a thing. And at some point, maybe in this new administration in these 4 years before Trump leaves, there is some formal statement from the government. Oh, by the way, we've been working with our cosmic cousins for years, and that kind of a thing. So it's really interesting. But then, part of me doesn't know, because some of this stuff, when I saw some of the pictures, they looked less like the Tic Tac, like little, white, mini school bus size, little, VW bug size, white orbs. Some of them actually do look more technology, like something Raytheon could build, or some government contractor could build. And so I'm not sure if it's like the benevolent higher dimensional us, or if it's some in between secret space program, semi, benevolent group. I don't really know.
Yeah.
What do you think, Diane?
If you take a look at petroglyphs in caves, you can see that the aliens obviously been here, and they must have been prevalent many years ago. They, look at the Machu Picchu. There's a huge alien built out of stone. The other thing is, the standing stones like Stonehenge?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to reveal something that very few people know. Those were space landings. They were landings for spaceships. And there's all kinds of different sizes. Like there's one in, I think it's Wales. It's called Stenhouse. It's huge. I mean, actually, it's on Orkney, and it's huge. We were there. It's a massive thing. So you knew that was a huge spaceship when you saw that. And our teacher had us put our backs to those stones, and we meditated on that. It's real interesting what you get, because when they used to land, the Celtics and the Picts and they called them pagans, would go and greet them with brown robes And that's why they got it. History makes it look like it was some kind of ritual, which it was, because they were greeting their families coming from a different planet.
Mm-hmm.
And here's another thing, and I thought about this. So I guess this is supposed to be revealed too. When Jesus was born, the star was a huge spaceship. That was big light. And they were watching it, and they knew this was going to happen. And that's what that was.
Mm-hmm.
So everybody thinks it's a star. Well, it is a star. It's a star planet.
Jesus is an ET.
Pardon?
Jesus is an ET.
Well, yeah, we all are.
We're all are.
We're all from a different planet, other than the test tube babies. But yeah, see, we are star people. We are from planets. The only reason that most of us here on this planet is because there was a huge war in the heavens and all these planets got blown up.
So basically what you're saying, Diane, is it's kind of like, duh. They're back. They've been here. They never left. They're us. They're here.
Yeah, and I think the people that are awakening up are understanding that they're feeling that in their own soul, their inner being. They know. The people that are asleep, it's just fear, and we know what fear does. It just renders you useless. You can't do anything. It just paralyzes you. Right. So if they can get over the fear and realize that these wonderful spaceships that are here are not going to hurt us. Of course, there are bad guys, but I think the good guys are trying to keep them at peril.
Yeah, I think the bad guys are pretty much gone. That's why the disclosure is starting. And let's see here, Christine Marie, and no one in the government seems to know anything about it. That's what they're saying. That's what they're saying.
They know.
I believe. Well, top tier, bigger tiers do. But what if these are flying cars that they're rolling out? I've had visions of flying cars, vertical anti-gravity cars, in our lifetime, like within the next 10 years or so, 10 to 15 years, where we will have access. The regular people will have access to vertical flying cars. What if because there's military bases around there, what if Elon and the military base are rolling out flying cars, because they weren't real quiet from what I could hear, like a regular, passenger spaceship, the ones we're used to, So the ones I know about, no, but it's so what if these are flying cars and they're just showing us, hey, they're using the airspace there as testing, building highways, aerial car highways. I mean, wouldn't that be cool, right? And I suppose, is there
so Robin, you said that there was a bunch of booms in Portland. Where what part of Portland was this?
Wait, let's look at Robin's question here. Is everyone from space coming to Earth to watch an upcoming event? Oh yeah.
Yeah, she's the one
The upcoming event.
Yeah, she's the one who said that there were booms around Portland.
Oh, okay. Hold on, let me.
Strange loud booms.
Okay. Christine, they're here. Yes, I don't think they left. Also a week ago, around Portland, strange loud booms, many like a cosmic war in space, unless I'm just hearing things. Oh, I didn't know about that.
Yeah, what part of Portland was this? because it's been foggy and they've had the foghorns going on the rivers.
It's been foggy a lot around the country. Definitely.
It was foggy today, and I noticed like yesterday it was foggy and then it cleared off and it was beautiful and blue sky, and then clear in the evening before it clouded back up again and got foggy this morning. But then today it looked like in the afternoon it was going to try to, clear off again, and then I saw the big chemtrail lines, and it was almost like you do wonder if there's stuff happening in the skies and they're, just dipping it, so you can't see.
Yeah. Okay, Robin, are you talking about Southwest, like in Beaverton, or Southwest Portland? Because the foghorns were going almost all day yesterday because it was so foggy. I could hear them.
So Emily, David Wilcock is working on the hover cars there. Yes, at a factory near you. Oh, that's awesome. I love David Wilcock. He's been talking about that for a while. The CEO of the aerospace company is a secret space program personnel. Yes, I forget his name. I've done pretty much all his classes. Highly recommend David Wilcock's stuff. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So that's a wealth of information.
Totally. I learned so much from him. Thanks, Emily. Yeah, I mean, that makes sense to me. Who knows?
I was going to say one thing, Sharon. When you were talking about your experience you had where you kind of woke up and you were in the blue jumpsuit and then you were kind of looking on a screen and you weren't sure if you were in a simulator or not.
Yeah.
I've had kind of a memory or come to me. These things, it's not exactly like I wake up all the time and I'm in a dream and, wake up and it just happens. Sometimes it just, all of a sudden I'm thinking about something and there it is. It's like something was suppressed and now have access to something I'd forgotten.
Yes.
And so I had an experience similar where one time I was in a white, it almost looked like an astronaut suit. Not the big puffy one, but like the undersuit that before they put on the big exterior astronaut suit. And then one was blue. And I felt like that one was in some, Pleiadian hybrid, military Navy, program. And we were, it's funny you said flying around because it almost felt like it was like a video game. Now they have these video games, where the kids will play. And I'm not that much of a gamer, but like where you're going down the trail and it shows you the pathway. You have to like fly like a little thing through like the hoops, and you're like flying through the hoops and going through. It was kind of like that, but there was these vortex spots. The hoops, it wasn't really a hoop. It was these energy vortexes we were trying to swoop through, because as we were going through those spots, it was activating, different parts of the planet. And so we had different grid points where every night we went the same spot and we were projecting the same frequency as we were going through. And it was like activating people down below who were, connected. It was really interesting. It was playing a role on the planet, much like how the whales are in the ocean and they're going down deep and they're putting out their their call and the vibrations into the inner earth, their sonar, and it's this natural thing the whales and the dolphins and stuff will do. I felt like we were doing that in our ships as we were flying around, and we were hitting a lot of the vortex points, like Machu Picchu and Stonehenge and those type of things. But at a more local level, like I think everyone is positioned where they're supposed to be, and to a certain degree. Like there's a reason we all live in Portland, Vancouver. Like the people who are watching, there's a reason where they're at. Where they're at in their life. They're having their personal human experience. But I really feel like at night or on the higher dimensions, when we go into that REM sleep, like we're connecting and we're playing other characters at higher dimensional levels, the higher dimensional aspects of ourselves. And it's like I said, some of these aliens and quote unquote angels and demons and all the different things that come to us are different aspects of us coming back for healing, because we're the ones on the planet Earth, and they, like everything in the galaxy, we're like the node point for all of these different dimensional levels. And that's why all these higher dimensional beings are coming in to watch. This is the biggest show in town right now, and everybody's coming to to watch. If you're not directly involved, you sure as heck want to watch and learn from what's happening, or just for pure, like, this has been going on so long, it's going to be a pretty spectacular ascension as we're humanity's, welcomed, reawakened and re-remembered and ascended back into the galactic community. Because, so there's so many things are happening on different levels. It's kind of hard to explain sometimes, but when you feel it and you see it and you kind of shift different perspectives and, man, this is an exciting time to be alive. I'm really grateful.
It sure is. Thank you, Andy. That describes a lot of what I was getting in that space I was in. If it was a simulator or I was, or in a ship or a remote, maybe I was controlling something like a drone remotely or a car or something like that. But there were grid, it was like going through a grid. I could see grids and bright lights, and and it was like the bright light was my target or something as I was moving through. It was crazy. That's awesome. That's really cool. Yeah.
Yeah, I felt like that too.
I want to bring all the memory back. So annoying.
It's coming. When do you think the big event happens? People are saying 2025. I've been hearing for years 2024, 2025. I know at the higher dimensions, it's already happened a while ago, I feel like. And this is just us experiencing it from all the different levels, and I don't know.
So what do you term the big event? What do you think of as the big event?
That's that. I should probably define that. People have been saying the big, shift in consciousness collectively. I don't know if that's when we get to 51% of the people are awakened, and that's enough to kind of shift humanity into a more unity conscious frame of mind. And some of those, if we have our five senses, taste, touch, sight, hearing, feeling. I always thought that like there was, one or two other senses that were almost going to come online as this shift happens. And one of those is our telepathy is going to like be 100-fold. Or like almost overnight, we're going to be so sensitive, you hardly even need the phone, because the moment, you think about your aunt thinks about you and knows you're thinking about her. And then, she'd send you like a message like, hey, what's going on? Or, I think we all are going to become so telepathic and intuitive at such a higher level. Our lives will be so much different with that ability. We won't have as much questioning. We'll have so much more knowing. And then I think, so that's kind of like I would say a new sense or a higher sense that comes on board when the shift collectively happens for humanity. And certainly people are at different levels. I understand when the big one happens. And then I also think that a part of that is with this bigger connection that happening, I think we are reconnected to our oversoul, or some would say the Akashic records, where not only do you know who you are in this life, and you can communicate more freely and understand things easier, and just in general, the energy's lighter and things happen easier, and it's not these dreaded programs that of fear and hate and division that's holding everyone down. But in addition to that, because we are connected directly to who we've been before, we understand our direct, unique connection to source. And there's a level of comfort there that I'm not alone. There's a reason for all this. It's almost like so many of the big questions are almost instantly not the big questions anymore. We almost come up with new big questions because we're operating on such a higher level.
Right. Yeah.
Well, I do know that even as kids, I could telepathically connect with my friends, because that's how close you get as kids. You just kind of just do that. But I will be calling somebody as they're calling me. I've had that happen a lot. Mm-hmm. So I do know that they have tried on 2 occasions to lift this planet up into another dimension. It hasn't worked. That's how we got the floods. There's been several floods, but that's how we got one of the floods. That's how we got the Ice Age. because it didn't work. They have already placed 3 cornerstones to do it again. And I asked my teacher, well, when are you going to do it? Well, when we feel like it. You know, that's kind of their timing is not like ours because they don't have time. We have time. That's something that we invented.
Mm-hmm.
So I can say, is it going to be tomorrow? And he'll go, yeah. But tomorrow could be 4 years from now in their own, in their minds, because time is irrelevant to them. It's whatever, however they feel that they can do it and that we can participate in it.
Yeah. So the shift, I believe that we are shifting already.
Yeah, they're getting us ready.
Yeah. And what you're both talking about, the telepathic connection, is normal for us. That's normal. The not being telepathically connected or not aware that we're telepathically connected is abnormal. So we're going back to normal. What we normally, as humans, as these big, powerful human beings, angelic type beings, angelics, we're angelics, that we really are. We're remembering that. And so as light is being, this is my take on it, light is being bombarded onto the planet more and more and more. We have to clear out what isn't love, what isn't compassion, like Robin said. We have to clear out what isn't, what's in not congruent with being, connected with our higher self and that kind of thing. So I feel it's slowly happening. It's been happening since what's that one from the 80s, that convergence, the big convergence. I forget what it's called.
Yeah, it was like in April of
it was a huge event. Yeah. So that to me is an event. So I believe that this planetary alignment, we're moving through the photon belt, which is bringing in more light and more energy more light energy onto the planet. So when we maybe when we get through the photon belt and enough that people are aware of, or healed, I guess I should say, healed, and we don't wage war on other countries, and that we're not part of that. I mean, it's war for greed, of course. That's all war is, for greed. And when we're past that, which I see happening pretty soon too, Andy, within the next 5 years maybe. And so when we get through that is when we will be welcomed to the galactic community as responsible adults. Because we can't be a part of the Federation, just like Star Trek, the Federation in Star Trek. We can't be a part of that as long as we still have war on the planet, as long as humans are, going through that, because that, and the collective is made up with us and how we war with each other, right? And how we wage war on ourselves and each other. So yeah, it's coming, definitely. I hope Christine asked about the solar flash. You guys talking about the solar flash. Now, there was a time when I believed in the solar flash. What I understand is that that was thwarted back in 2020, the end of 2020. And when was it was supposed to happen? In 2000, I think, or something like that. Not 2020, but 2000.
Was it 2012?
David Wilcock talked about that, huh?
Was it 2012 or 2012?
2012. Yeah, 2012. Yeah. Well, there was a solar flash in the Sirius constellation that hit there the same time it should have hit here. So I believe that our brothers and sisters, star beings thwarted that for us so that we could, and I feel that, so that we could have an awakening that is not so harsh, because not everyone would have made it through the solar flash. That would have been really hard.
When I was up at ECETI a couple years back, James Gilliland had a video he had gotten from like somebody had sent to him from one of the NASA, feeds, and it was one of those like extremely zoomed in, like next to the sun. They're looking at different little objects floating next to the sun, and all of a sudden you see this solar flash coming out, this coronal mass ejection, and literally this little dot on the screen flies up to it, and all of a sudden there's a flash that comes out of the dot, which was a ship, and it literally perfectly neutralized the flash that was coming out, so it didn't hit us.
I think I've seen that.
And it was like amazing. Like, this is incredible footage. Why don't they show this on the nightly news? This is like incredible. Like, we got some cosmic level help if we're stopping like solar flashes. And I thought he had said it was like higher level Andromedans or Arcturians or something that came in, and maybe who knows what. I don't know. I can't verify any of that, but I thought that's what he had said, and I was like, wow, that's incredible.
Yeah. So I totally feel that what's happening is we're getting solar flares, not solar flashes. And so our upgrade, as Charlene calls it, is happening on a, this is my feeling, because I was seeing, I write this about it in my book, I was seeing really heavy duty stuff for our planet 20 years ago. I mean, not good stuff. And seeing a solar flash and that kind of thing, nuclear, perhaps too, and also I don't know, just not good stuff. But that changed, and yeah.
It's funny you say that. Over the years, I have some different friends we've talked to about this type of stuff, and I was so confident at different points. I saw this is what's going to happen. Like, I really felt like I was going out of body, and my guides were allowing me to see what was going to happen. Mm-hmm. And I was telling people and sharing my my opinion. Everyone has their opinion on different events, and then at times, of course, I was right. At other times, I was wrong, and I would get mad. And I was like, "Why did you show me that if it wasn't right?" And they're like, "That's what happened." Yeah. But we're on this like continuous. We're being so guided and so helped by God in the universe. It's like, okay, that was another bad timeline going in the wrong trajectory. We learn from that experience. All of a sudden, it's like a video game where we keep respawning back at the last best point and then going forward from there. Because I was completely convinced some of these things I saw happened, but then they didn't actually end up happening here. And I know that someone's going to make a joke out of this. He's a man. He can't admit he was wrong. No, I knew. I was right. But then now we're on a different timeline, and I ended up being wrong in the end. And my guide's like, is it more important, when I was having this internal meditation and discussion, and I was, is it more important for you to be proven right or for humanity to ascend and come into harmony with Source's creation? And I was like, well, of course that matters more than me wanting to tell my friends this thing that I saw, And it was kind of interesting and funny. So I don't know if that makes sense to anybody, but you see something and then it really happened, but all of a sudden now we're on a different timeline and it didn't happen on this timeline.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I think it's also called the Mandela effect.
Yeah.
Right?
Good.
Yeah.
Right. You're right.
Yeah, totally. I just saw James Gilliland on Michael Sala's channel a couple days ago. He was on there. Yeah, a couple of days. James Gilliland, good stuff. He talked about what's going on now, and and he talked about the reason the government, and makes sense, isn't the government, the Pentagon, whoever, right now isn't coming out with information on extraterrestrials, on that's what he was talking about. He was talking about the reason they won't talk about the benevolent, the good guys, is because they'll lose their funding. if we're in a state of fear, and if they if people keep believing that aliens are a threat now, or moving forward especially, are a threat, then the Pentagon will be funded for taking care of that threat, kind of thing. Or that's the idea. And I'm like, oh, now it makes sense, because they use that excuse, it'll panic the masses. People will be panicked. It has nothing to do with that. It has to do with funding.
Yeah. Well, it's to keep the big lie going.
Keep
right?
the big lie going. Yes, totally. There's lots of reasons, I'm sure, but funding makes the most sense.
Well,
number one, it's always about the bottom line, right? Follow the money.
It is.
Kind of thing.
Well, because the money leads to power, right? Power and influence on planet Earth, at least, right? It's a currency for power. That's what money is.
Totally. Yeah. So, hopefully that change. I see it changing. I already see it changing soon.
Because Elon Musk and Vivek are on it. They want to know where the money was spent.
Mm-hmm.
And because there's billions missing, and they have no idea. Nobody's talking.
Well, that's our money too. It's pretty disgusting. That So it's definitely good times at Ridgemont High right now.
I feel so blessed. I can tell you the amount of synchronicities that have been happening just exponentially. So I really keep being reminded that I need to focus. My guys just keep saying, visualize what you actually want, not what you don't or what you're worried about. Visualize the world you want.
Yeah. Yeah, totally. Because you're creating. We're always creating.
And be specific, because when I was in this one commune, there was this girl from Sweden. Well, it doesn't matter where she was from. Anyway, her father wanted to sell the car, and he said, "I'm going to sell that car tomorrow. I don't care what I have to do to get rid of it." The next day, the car blew up. Well, he got rid of it. He didn't sell it. He just got rid of it. So you have to be specific.
Yeah.
Yeah. Be careful what you put out there, because we're always creating. We're always with our words, with our thoughts first, and with our words. Yeah, totally. It's the field is always reacting to what we're putting out.
Yeah, I guess he went out. He was going to sell it, and it started a fire, and the car blew up.
Well, I hope it wasn't blew up like a bomb blow up. But
no, it was just,
just quit working. The car was like, okay, I'm done then. Cars, I do believe that cars they take on our energy, right?
It's our bodies. A car is our body.
It's our, right. So it's just another cover for us. It's so I always name my cars. I haven't named my new car yet.
Well, like you said, Sharon, like sometimes when you're on the higher levels, you're projecting your consciousness down around something as your avatar. I feel like when my wife's like, you drive this big car like a little go-kart rally car. Because I get in my car and I feel like I have my protection energy bubble and I say my blessings, and like I can feel sometimes my guide like tickling my head as I'm like flying around the corner. Like that's and so I totally believe the car takes on its owner's personality and energy.
Yes. Do you remember flying a spaceship?
Oh yeah,
a little personal spaceship.
Absolutely. I have a spaceship that goes fast.
Yeah, mine too.
I remember getting an upgrade in a space. This is like a higher dimensional memory where the Lyrans came in, and I had this Arcturian Syrian like Chiron. I had this little hybrid ship, and like at one point in the last 5 years there was this major upshift, and I couldn't tell you when it happened, but I feel like we all got upgraded. And when that happened, I was working with these Lyran beings, and like I got to pick a ship. and I have a ship that on this other realm, I don't know where it is, but I fly around and it can go fast. I could do the Kessel Run in 8 parsecs.
Okay.
That's a Star Wars reference.
Star Wars. All right. I'm like, all right, I don't understand that, but okay.
Yeah.
You say parsecs. So parsecs is like a cosmic mile, right? Or cosmic 1,000 mile or something, or cosmic minute.
Yeah. That's what Han Solo always used to say.
Oh, okay. All right.
In Star Wars. Yeah.
So Christine, you're asking if my car is red. Yes. How did you know? It is red. My new car is red. My old one was white with red stripes.
Yeah, I can't drive a red car because I have a lead foot, and I'd be probably have my license taken away. Never have had a red car. I knew that from day one. But I do have a turbo.
I
have
believe
a turbo car.
Sharon, do you drive fast?
I can, yes.
I have a lead foot. She has a lead foot. I was just wondering if we're all like, damn, this is too slow. I'm used to going like thousands of miles an hour, not like 40.
Well, I've always, not always, but most of my cars are muscle cars. I love muscle cars. So yeah, they're always my ships, you know?
Yeah.
But this new car I have, I totaled my Challenger. Oh God, it was so heartbroken.
Oh, sounds like my brother.
Heartbreaking. Yeah, I totaled it in, when was it? Just September, I guess. Yeah. So I got a more practical car, but it's red. Yeah. Name her Sherry. Okay.
Still.
I bought a Toyota.
Red frame of mind. That's why I don't drive one.
Yeah. Well, it isn't bright red. It's not bright red. It's like a.
Still.
Well, there's a lot of cars that same color on the road. What is this? I have such an affinity for the character Princess Leia. People even say I look like her. Oh, nice.
I love it.
Oh, yeah. She's definitely a staple in Star Wars.
Yeah.
She was. She was. Yeah. She was.
So I just see things rolling out really quickly in the next year or so. Things are happening real fast. I predict. Oh, by the way, New Year's Day. Hopefully, you both can make it. I'm going to be doing a yearly leap into the next year, 2025. We're going to do forecasting and do some burning bowl stuff to release the last year and bring on the new year.
Homifier stuff. Yeah, that's good.
Beautiful.
Mm-hmm. Burning bowl stuff. And then we'll do some forecasting. And I'm going to look at what we forecasted last year and see if any of it was accurate.
Yeah, we did.
So yeah, that'll be fun. It's on New Year's Day at 6:00, 6 Pacific time. So that'll be fun. Put it on your calendar, everyone.
Awesome.
Yeah, we'll do some forecasting for the readings for people for their upcoming. If anyone wants to get a reading.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Luis Elizondo, I wanted to talk about him a little bit. Oh, you were going to say something, Andy?
I go ahead. The only thing I was going to say is before we're done, I got a new Oracle deck, and I wanted to pull a card at some point.
Oh, but good. Yes.
We can do that after whatever you were going to talk about.
Yeah, we have a little bit of time. Okay. It is 7:00 already. I just want to talk about him a little bit because he's been talking about, he's real popular in the disclosure community. And he wrote a book, and he's of the mindset that extraterrestrials are a threat, along with the government or the Pentagon and that kind of thing. So there are people that put a lot of stock in what he says. I don't. I'm just one of them that doesn't. So that's my take on him.
I think that people like that want to control people, and they control people by fear.
Yeah, I believe that he may mean well, and maybe this is all he knows, because he worked in the Pentagon for a long time. He's a whistleblower, so to speak. He's been around a while. Go ahead, Andy.
Feels like, there's some good people who've done some great work in getting out, facts and documents and, projects and different, stuff. So I'm all about whistleblowers and people, doing right.
Yeah,
it feels like so many of these are like controlled, opposition. Like some of these, there's whistleblowers out there, and there's people that you hear, and the more you hear them, the more you see. You're like, you were controlled opposition. You're still an agent. Yeah. You're still a double agent put out there to give, two truths for every lie. You know what I mean? And so you'll say some true stuff and give little bits of interesting details that most people don't have on some stuff, but it's the low level stuff a lot of time. And it's meant to keep it fear and scary. We don't know where they are, and we don't know this. And it's like, no, we know where they are. We know the good guys. We know a lot of the bad guys. And when I say we, I'm not, does the average senator know everything, or does the average president, or like, I'm talking about I always remember what the astronaut, the first one that walked on the moon,
Neil Armstrong.
In his, 25, 30 years after, when he was getting kind of an award towards the end of his life, he gave this speech, and he made this comment about, he hopes that someday that, the truth can get out through the protective, the truth protective layers within the government. And it felt like he was wanting to try to say something more than he was allowed to. He didn't want to lose his pension. He didn't want his family threatened. He had to keep up the company line, but he knew a lot more, and he knew a lot more of it was like a show and, manipulated versus what was really happening. And there was a sadness to him. You could tell if you go back and watch that speech. And I always just remember that, like, whether it's the 3-letter agencies, whether it's the secret societies nobody talks about, whether I don't know exactly who the quote unquote Illuminati bad guys that, hybrid, Hydra right out of like Marvel comics, they're partly in government, they're partly in business. They keep themselves out of the shadows, but behind the scenes, they manipulate everything. I don't know about those people, but I can tell you, like, I think we're on the timeline where all of it gets exposed and humanity has to process it, deal with it. But we're capable now to do that. We've made enough progress. Enough people are doing the work. And we're going to be on the timeline where we shift to a very positive golden age for humanity. And I think it's right around the corner. And
I think we're on that timeline. We're there.
Yep.
We are. Yep. We're there. I feel that with every fiber of my being that we're on that timeline. Yeah, it's Absolutely. Just totally. It's just a matter of time, and it's coming. It's coming very quickly. And Andy, you talked about you mentioned Marvel Comics. It reminds me of what you said one time in one of the meetings, that you have memories. You remember being like, or when you were a kid, you watched Marvel you were a fan of Marvel Comics, and you thought it was normal, right? Natural. It's like, we're all like this, right? And James Gilliland talked about on Michael Salla, his last interview, that he was with one of his ascended masters, or one of his archangel beings that he works, that he communicates with. And he told him, he goes, James Gilliland told him, you look just like Superman. He goes, well, that's kind of who we are, what we are. And that's our species. And he said he was even wearing a red cape.
Wow. Yeah.
So the Marvel Comics characters were fashioned after real people, real
Oh, yeah.
humans,
Oh,
like
yeah.
us.
So much disclosure in those, like just the little stuff, you know, the gamma rays hit, you know, go, you know, hit Hulk, and Hulk transforms because his DNA transforms because it's affected by the gamma rays coming off, you know, like
Oh yeah.
so much little stuff like that, let alone all the different, you know, higher dimensional. That's why I love Thor. I was
I
like,
was just
wait a
gonna
minute.
say Thor's always my favorite. I can't, you know.
My grandpa's Norwegian, so like I always go like when I was trying to look at family origins, my grandpa was like, "Oh yeah, Thor," and I'm like, "Thor, Odin." I'm like, "What? No, those are gods." And he's like, "No, we have their blood," and I'm like, "What?"
Whoa, nice.
Yeah, he really believed that.
Oh, I believe that he believed that. I believe that.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah, totally.
well, if you knew who Thor was, you would really believe that. Yeah, you do have his blood.
Yeah.
Seriously.
Yeah.
Thor, Father One.
Well,
Oh,
there,
yeah.
you know,
Yeah, Father One. Mother One,
Yeah.
Father One, Father One.
The
Not as Thor, but
Odin.
That's one of his incarnations.
The
believe
stories
it.
and lore and stuff like that are taken off something. You know, they start somewhere, and they get watered down by the other side of, you know, things, so that we don't remember what our history is and what our genealogy is and how powerful we really are. So I remember being a Valkyrie. I remember it when I was at a Contact in the Desert or one of those conferences. There was a man there who he had a booth, and he was Norwegian. He was from the family. And, and I'm talking to him, and he like goes down on one knee in front of me, and he bows his head. He said, "You're a Valkyrie." I'm like, "What?" Because okay. And I remembered it. I remembered that I was a Valkyrie. I mean, even before that, I knew that I didn't know what a Valkyrie was, but I'd seen myself. I had an out of body. I was on a white horse with wings. I was some kind of warrior, that type of thing. But I didn't know what a Valkyrie was. And he confirmed that for me. That was
That
cool.
is awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
these beings are real.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Totally.
And again, back to the synchronicities, I think those beings, those higher aspects of us, are leaving us little breadcrumbs to remember who we are, because we knew we would forget. You know, we leading ourselves and guiding ourselves to remember. Us remembering.
Mythology, fairy tales,
right?
Paintings,
right?
The whole Renaissance era was an awakening.
Yeah.
Trying to bring back, you know, the whole Knights of Templar, all of that. All of that history that you can go see, the Grail Knights, all of that.
King Arthur.
Yes,
King Arthur.
yeah, King Arthur, and I was a knight. I was. The thing is that you are to remember, and they give you clues and all kinds of stuff. I mean, when we were in the UK, we chased everything King Arthur, trying to remember our past histories.
Camelot.
And yes, and that's Tintagel. And Merlin's Cave is underneath Tintagel. And Marion Zimmer Bradley, whom I met, meditated for 3 years at Tintagel before she wrote the book,
Mists of Avalon.
The Mists of Avalon.
I read that 3 times.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's when I was going through my Camelot shift. I think we all go through these shifts, these realms. When we're waking up, we go through through realms. Camelot's one of the realms, and I believe that the Olympian gods is another realm.
Oh,
So,
the Titans, yes.
yeah.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
So we're going
I
through these
wasn't
realms.
there. I wasn't the Titan because they were still putting me back together from the War in the Heavens.
What?
Yeah, they were still putting me back together in the War in the Heavens, and I didn't have an incarnation that time.
Oh.
Because I was so, I told that story about being burned on a grid line. That I used to have these dreams that I was on a billowy cloud when I was little, all the way until I was like 50 something. And my teacher said, well, this is what it is. And I've never had one since. But I dreamed that I was on this billowy cloud. And all of a sudden I turned into ashes and I was burned, totally burned. And I would wake up and that feeling wouldn't leave me for hours. And it looked like an ember just incinerating. And I could never figure it out. And that he told me that I was on a grid line going to and from Maldek, which is the central sun and the inner earth. It totally blew up. And I don't know whether it was coming or going, but I was on this ley line. It was a ley line, they're grid lines. And I got burned in that explosion. And so it took for me the time to heal, and they were trying to put me back together. I have a girlfriend who they put together really weirdly. She has one green eye and one blue eye.
Yeah.
Yeah, and she's had that all along in all of her carnations. It comes out one green and one blue.
Wow.
So it's kind of real,
Interesting.
real interesting. So
yeah, totally.
It's
Yeah,
amazing.
you made it through and you're back.
Yeah.
Back in
So,
one piece.
the Titans, yeah, they were gods
The Titans?
from Olympia. From
Yeah.
Olympia, yeah.
I had an out-of-body experience where I was I just show up, reality shift, where I see these gold beings, gold-skinned beings. Actually, I had more than one. And but this one was really crazy, and I'm just standing there watching these huge, beautiful golden beings in like Olympian type of attire, and there's this woman, muscular woman, like an Amazonian, and I remember being an Amazonian woman too, and she's on a chariot, a gold chariot, and these horses, big beautiful horses, are pulling her chariot. It was almost like a chariot race or something, but they were just moving so fast and so powerful, and I'm standing there watching these gold beings going by me with these huge gold chariots and these horses that are beyond what we can imagine. It was crazy. I don't know what it was all about, but I was just there watching it.
Sometimes you have those fly on the wall experiences where you don't talk to anybody, you don't really know what's happened. You're just being allowed to see. And I think I've said this before, where one time when I was a kid and I was like really stressed and I was having some really bad allergy. They didn't know I had really bad allergies at that point, and I'd had a reaction to some of the vaccine stuff. I had a reaction. I was really sick and everything. And during that, however many days, I was basically just like asleep and drink water, go back to bed type of a thing. My mom was taking care of me. I think my body was just feeling so toxic. And at that time, it was almost like my soul just popped out. Like, I'm not staying here. It like popped out.
Yeah.
And I was in between dimensions. There's no other way to say it. I could look down on where my bedroom was and where I was laying in bed. And this isn't like one of those where I floated to the ceiling. I was in a whole different dimension looking down on like a bubble of like that's Earth. And I was looking up, and I could see these other, this other people moving, other beings walking above me in some other realm. And all of a sudden, this giant, honestly, what looked like a honeybee, a giant honeybee looking thing, as big as a hippopotamus, came up to me, and it was all telepathic. There's no words spoken, but it was kind of like, "You're not supposed to be here. Are you okay? What are you doing?" And I was just like, what? And all of a sudden, I'm back in my body. So I don't know what the hell that was, but I was in between. I popped out of dimension or something, and just could see in between. And this giant hummingbird, bumblebee size, hippopotamus or rhinoceros, came up to me, and it was flying around. It was like, you know how the bees are in the hive and they're just manicuring the hive, and it was just kind of like, "Oh, you're not supposed to be here." It was so weird.
So maybe a grid maintenance worker.
Yeah, I think it was, honestly.
Yeah. Well, I know it's so weird that sometimes you just pop up in some strange experience, and so I have to think, okay, did my higher self bring me here? Did I just, the Sharon here, bring me here, or what? What is the reason for this? But who knows? I guess it's all just all to have experience, right?
Yeah. One more data point, one more unique perspective to have with everything. I know at the end it all comes together, and we're like, "Oh, that's why." As we cry our tears of joy and resonate love from our heart, right?
I know. At the big event, it will all make sense. It will all make sense. Darius Wright, he's an out-of-body traveler, and have you heard of him? Either one of you heard of him?
That sounds familiar.
He's been on a lot of shows, videos, and he's been traveling since he was a kid. He's in his 20s or something, and he says that this matrix, like what we say, this matrix, this realm is falling. We know that, but there's going to be a huge event, like we were talking about, where we all celebrate and we make it out of this event. You know what I mean? We make it out of this matrix, out of this realm. And I think he was 12 or 13, when he was out of body, he was met by a light being who he calls Celeste, and she showed him the nature of our galaxy or the universe, I guess, and the different realms. He said he saw them as the different realms were connecting circles, like the flower of life. Right? I don't have it up today, but this is my Jupiter Ashtar command.
Cool.
Love it.
Jupiter, yeah. Closest to the Earth right now.
What's that?
Jupiter is closest to the Earth right now.
Is it? That's that bright light in the sky? Okay.
Yeah. They said it was the closest to the Earth this year.
Okay. Wow. Yeah. So, where was? Oh, yes. So he said that the realms were all sitting like on a desk, like on a huge being's desk, all the different realms that we move through. Go ahead.
Do you remember? I'm not going to go into the whole story again, but I told you my Lord Shiva experience.
Yes, I love that.
And at the very end of that one, when I shift up to the highest level, and I'm in this other realm, and I see these giant discs or plates, but they're really more like flattened, almost snow globes type of a thing. And then I start to pick them up, what is this? And I look, and it's the whole spiral Milky Way galaxy. And it wasn't a picture or a model. It was literally the Milky Way galaxy, whereas I looked into it, the stars were real and they were conscious, and it was everything. And I was looking at it from the God source level, the Godhead, looking down, and all these different dimensions stacked around. So when you're saying that, I was like, I've seen something like that.
I know, it's crazy, isn't it?
Yeah.
I saw something like that in a series, and I can't remember the series, but it's making me think of it. Was it the Loki series? Didn't Loki have something about that?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. With the guy with the desk and the different realms or different timelines or something on his desk.
Yeah, well, in that whole new Loki show, the whole thing was like the whatever time agency, or the TVA, the time variance agency, and there was like the sacred timeline they were trying to keep. Then there was all the fractal timelines, and at one point it showed all these different ones like stacked around each other, and
yeah, they had to. I haven't seen it in a while. I haven't seen the second season yet, but they had to make sure that the timelines didn't mess up the sacred timeline, right? But then he and that woman end up going to someone who a creator that created some that is the maintenance guy of all the timelines. You remember that part?
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway, because it makes me think about that, what we're talking about. I think that Loki show is pretty accurate.
Well, because they started getting into we talked about this last time when I was on the show last time. On that Loki show, they started getting into not every single person of the 8.2 billion people on the planet had the same effect on the planet. Some people were like core or sentient people, were like they were a main key figure on the timeline, and their decisions, were more potent, than the average NPC, who was, asleep in the Matrix, right? There was individuals on the planet that were doing 100-fold what the average person was doing. And I personally believe that goes into the whole 144,000 old soul, higher dimensional that was asked to come back and help with this
ascended
tough video
being
game level. Yeah.
Yeah.
What's that, Diane?
Ascended beings, 144,000 and counting. My
Yeah,
counting. Ascended beings, yes.
That made the decision to come down here into this matrix and fall.
Oh, it's the whole realm. It's the circle of gods.
Mm-hmm.
In the Pleiades.
Trillions, 3 trillion.
Wow.
What's that, Leah? Trillions, 3 trillion. Of what? Please clarify. Yes. Dolores Cannon talks about the background people, I guess NPCs, what you call NPCs. Mm-hmm. That's a computer game term, right?
Yeah, non-primary character.
Yeah.
They can only do their small role, their program. They're not really sentient, where they're... I don't know if that's true all the way, but I'm just saying it's kind of like that.
Well, there's not a big soul plan that they have, right?
Mm-hmm.
That they're here as, and who knows, but they're here as maybe someone to help someone just a little. They have a role where maybe to help someone take another path or something, but it's not but their role isn't to ascend.
Mm-hmm.
Well, sometimes they send like Jay-Z Knight, who channels Ramtha. He is an ascended master, but he only gives her 10% of him because he can split himself up and become any being he wants. I've seen Jesus as several different entities throughout my lifetime, and several other masters. But the only way you can realize that sometimes that you've, without knowing, is the feeling that you get after they leave or after you've left. Because sometimes you don't know, you're so into doing what you're doing And then all of a sudden there's this a rush of energy, and it was like, oh, that's who that was.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, for instance, I was coming from the library one time and I had like 40,000 books, and I had a timeline. I had to get home as soon as possible, and I was running to my car, and I had to go pick up my child from school, and here comes this tall, really tall, like 7 feet, with a top hat, top coat, black. And I'm running to my car, and he goes, "Good day. Nice day, isn't it?" And I'm thinking, I'm in a rush. And I look back and I go, oh my God, that was an ascended master. I turn around, the guy was gone.
So yeah, I think that's, yeah, they do insert themselves in the matrix when we need something like that, for sure. But I think that's a little different than a background person or an NPC.
Well, yeah, sometimes just a person coming to Earth. But, you know, there are ascended masters who have come to Earth to help somebody, and they forgot that they ascended.
Oh,
People have gotten
you
stuck
mean like
in the
us?
wall. Yeah.
All of us here?
I can give you an example. One of them is Shirley MacLaine.
She remembered. Took her a while, but she remembered.
Yeah, it did. It took her a while, but yeah.
Her book, The Camino Trail, blew my mind.
Me too. I wanted to go there so badly.
20 years ago, when she was talking about the Atlantis, the Lemurian transition to Atlantis.
Yes.
I was vibrating like crazy. I cried and cried and cried because it was like, oh my gosh, I remember this. I remembered it. What she described about her when she had those memories come from being Lemurian, and making the choice to move into the realm of duality and drop the frequency from Lemuria to Atlantis. Oh my God, that really hit me. That hit me.
Yeah, we as Lemurians made that choice to bring the Atlanteans into the light, because they were the dark side of the angels, the dark angels. Shirley MacLaine is Gaia, and she and Uranus created the dark angels. And when we came to Earth, because everything was so...
Is that why it's called Uranus?
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah.
I'm getting giddy with all this.
There's
energy.
Father 1, Mother 1, Father 2, Mother 2. And the 4, the 2 created Lemuria. The other 2 created the Atlanteans. And that's how that happened. And so when the Lemurians came down and the Atlanteans were here, we as Lemurians came together and said, we will take on them and send them to the light. And that's why we are still here, because that's how we now have both Atlantean, Lemurian.
Yeah. Well, I believe that we're all ascended masters, all of those that, you know, are seeking, that we are, there's a part of us that we are all ascended. It's you know, in that higher frequency, all of us are. We're all angelic in the higher frequencies, and we are fractalized down. We've dropped in frequency to help planet Earth, to help Gaia, to help humanity. Yeah. And we forgot.
Yes.
But that's okay. Now we remember.
And that's how they got, how we got stuck here, because we couldn't remember that higher self. And that's what we're here to do. Remember our higher self, but pull everybody else up with us. And the reason is because when we had to leave the war in the heavens, we had we had to leave people behind because they couldn't get into the spaceships. And we chose when we came here to never do that again.
Yeah.
Because
Where
it
we go
was
when we go all.
so painful. And they put us to sleep for 1,000,000 years because it was so painful.
Wow. That
Yeah,
makes my head
the
burn.
wars, the galactic wars, or the wars in the heaven, are very
dark.
Thank you. It's very deep, deep, deep. It's hard.
So I feel like this is perfect timing. From what you just said there, I was sitting here fiddling and I was listening because my head was buzzing. I was like, all right. I mentioned I got a new Oracle card.
Yeah. Let's pull it.
And I pulled the card while you were saying that, and the card that came forward. Let me grab the card. Is this card? It says a time to reflect.
Wow.
And you were talking about our higher light self coming down to help, the Lemurians coming down to help the Atlanteans, and the dark self. And right there, I feel like there's a face. If you look, the glowing divine,
Yeah.
like, and then there's the dark, and they're balanced. So it's a time to reflect. And so let me read what it says. It says,
"Yes.
Have you been rushing along, living from one moment to the next without thought or care? Have you failed to notice and acknowledge all that you have achieved and accomplished? Stop. Take a moment to pause and reflect upon all that has happened and all that is happening now. See how you have grown. See all you have succeeded in accomplishing. Acknowledge and delight in your journey, and understand how it has played a part in creating the you who lives in this present moment. You are loved." And so seemed like a beautiful synchronicity.
Totally. Yes.
See, that's part of the class that I'm supposed to give. A lot of that.
Mm-hmm. That's
it's
beautiful.
happening slowly. As you can see,
Well, look what I just pulled. That goes along with what you just pulled, Andy. The reunion.
Oh,
cool.
We were talking about. This is for all of us.
Male, female taking on male energy.
26. It's both. Yeah. The reunion, spontaneity, change of plans, social connections, and they're looking at the Milky Way.
I love it.
Well, and you were talking about the Milky Way. It's a new way of seeing it, Andy.
Yes.
Mr. Cosmic.
Well, that looks like two people, standing up there cosmically looking out. I mean,
they are.
It's all synchronistic.
Yeah, male,
So
female.
Let's read what the Lyrans are telling us with the reunion. The reunion. I can't wait for the reunion.
Yes.
I keep getting that with this shift, with this event, that the veil will fall between the worlds and we will see our loved ones tangibly. We will be with our loved ones tangibly. I keep getting that. Okay, the reunion. There's a dream spoken about in the Intergalactic Council hubs of Sirius A of starseeds on Earth coming together in communion to shift and liberate your entire planet. What we're talking about. The evolved souls who have spent lifetimes in the cosmic realms in order to facilitate this current liberation mission. That's all of us here. When starseeds on Earth do converge together, they create such a powerful collective energy that it not only activates all the members that are present in their group, but sends ripples of upgrade to your entire field, opening the doors of cosmic remembrance for all your species. Although an individual is very powerful in her own unique way, her unique field, this power amplifies greatly each time other members join with similar intention. As starseeds continue to come together and merge, they begin to unlock dormant potential in the collective consciousness and allow for your entire species to return back to the way of council, which many advanced galactic species engage in, as well as the original peoples of your planet. I remember those days. Ooh, yeah. I feel that we have observed from our perspective that your collective has had a sharp rise of interest in concepts such as aliens, the universe, evolution, and starseed literature. The next stage of this operation is for these soul groups to converge amongst each other and begin activating projects for the construction of the new Earth. The card of a reunion arrives when you are being prepared to engage in group-based work. Know that your star family is currently here, and through a series of synchronic events, you shall all meet. Now is an ideal time to be open to meet new individuals. Additional meanings, dropping of boundaries, trust, letting go, spontaneity, social connections, starseed gatherings. What we're doing. That's what we're doing. Yeah.
Cool.
Beautiful.
I have to show you this. This is first Atlantis and first Lemuria.
Oh.
What does that look like to you? Lungs. Lungs.
Mm-hmm.
It looks like lungs.
Mm-hmm.
It looks like what?
Lungs.
Oh, lungs. Oh, yes.
Lungs, yeah, that you breathe from.
Lungs, yes. Okay,
Yeah.
definitely.
Yeah.
Wow.
This is Atlantis. This is Lemuria. Amazing. You see this isthmus here?
Uh-huh.
Well, that isthmus is one side Ireland and the other side Scotland. It's the giant causeway.
Oh.
And it was connected at one time, but Earth changes separated it. It's really interesting when you look at it, when you really see it right there. And you can see when you're there how it fits in to the other section. So when you're on the other section, you can see where it fit into the other section. It's really cool. Yeah, it's really cool.
That's amazing. The lungs of the planet.
Yeah.
So the heart is,
but with all the Earth changes and everything, Atlantis and Lemuria are combined, but there are sections that are parts of just Atlantis and parts of Lemuria.
So isn't the heart supposed to be in Hawaii? Maui?
The heart chakra? Yeah.
You know, the island of Maui is Jesus's. He was Maui. He, as above, so below. The islands of Hawaii are just like the Pleiades.
Mm-hmm.
And,
no, I didn't know that. Okay.
Yeah, and here's another one. The mother crystal is buried in Hawaii. In the ocean. The big, I mean, it's huge. It's huge.
I don't doubt it.
And when we went over it and I got in the water, I just started throwing up profusely.
That was intense.
It felt like I was giving birth. And that's when they said, because this mother crystal is creating more. And when we were driving back to our hotel, I looked up in the sky and here's this cloud that looked like the mother crystal with little baby crystals on top. It was really interesting.
Wow. It is beautiful and powerful energy over there. In March, I'd mentioned this before when I was there, I had a moment where I went out on the beach and just had my feet in the sand when I got to the islands there. And I literally, emotion came over me. I started crying. I literally felt a warm wind come up around me, and it was right out of Moana. Like the where the water like parts and like the water went out. I had a hug around me. The island was giving me like, I felt like Mother Earth herself was giving me a hug. And
What
my
island was
crying,
this?
they told me, I didn't understand why I was crying, and they told me that I was helping clear for not just myself, but for the collective. I was like a node point. I went to the right place at the right time, and all this energy from the collective was flowing through me, and I was sobbing, and
Yeah.
but while simultaneously feeling like I was being hugged, literally hugged by the wind.
So
It was
what
crazy.
island were you on?
I was actually on Waikiki Beach, but I had a similar experience 2 years earlier on Maui. And so every time I've gone to the island, that's happened. Like the first night, I go to the beach because I'm on the we're on the West Coast, and then 3 hours different. I'm up at like 5 in the morning, Maui, Hawaii time, because I get up at 8 every day, and I'm out, and so I just walk out to the beach. The sun hadn't even come up yet. By the time the sun came up, there's rainbows everywhere. I mean, the synchronicities I had there, little animals coming up to me, bumping into random people, words on people's T-shirts answering the question I just thought in my head. You know what I mean? Like, it was that level of the universe was giving me signs, and I felt grateful. So I know not everyone has the ability to travel, but put the islands on your list. It's a place to go for healing, and if you have any connection to ancient Lemuria or Atlantis, that's a place to go. Let alone anything else going on in your life from what you're connected to.
Yep.
It's divine. So yeah.
As above,
Very
so below.
sacred.
Yep.
Very sacred.
Island is like one of the Pleiades, and gods are they protect those islands each, like Jesus is Maui.
Yeah. Wow.
So, well, it's the heart. So Emily has a comment here. That's weird that you're talking about this. I follow this channel called Lady of the Forest 444. She talks about a new one like Jesus is supposed to be born soon. That was the goddess Pele.
Well, that's part of the Hawaiian culture, but they realize that Pele, when the volcano erupts, it's Pele crying. On Maui, on the volcano of Haleakala, they have an area where the Hawaiians used to throw their afterbirth. It's really an interesting area.
Wow.
So isn't Pele's like, is a representative of the mother, the mother goddess, right? Yeah, okay.
Yes.
Yeah. I have a friend who had a very intense experience with Pele when she went to Hawaii. Yeah. She just boom, and she wasn't used to channeling or anything like that. It wasn't something she normally did. And she's very close with Yeshua as well. But Pele was there and started talking to her. She's like, what the heck is going on? When she realized what was happening, it was pretty crazy for her. Yeah. Very strong energy. And we've gone almost 2 hours.
Wow.
I know, right? Sorry, Andy. We'll have to use your cards next time. Those looked like really amazing cards for people.
Yeah. Well, speaking of the Pleiades, my phone, it says 749, and 49 is 7 sevens. And here we're talking about the Pleiades and all the good signs. So I think it's perfect timing. On the thing right there, it says 144.
It does on the time.
All the light codes are and synchronicities are coming in. So hey, thank you, ladies, for having me on. Thank you for everything. And until next time, let's keep manifesting the divine golden timeline and ascension for humanity.
Right? Yeah, and keep your eyes on the sky. I mean, so much coming up. I'm so excited about what's coming up. And thank you, Andy, for being here, and thank you, Diane, and thank you everyone that's in
Thank you for
our
having us.
audience area. Thank you for being here. We love you all. Mwah.
Yeah, we kind of went through the earth, didn't we? I mean,
We did.
went to Europe, we went to Hawaii,
the sky to the earth.
Yeah.
Galaxy back down to the planet. We brought ourselves
That's above, so below.
Yes.
Thank you,
All right.
everyone. Good night.
Bye. Thank you. Love